What if I told you that many adults you meet daily, polished, composed, seemingly in control, are, in fact, children cloaked in grown-up costumes? What if I told you that maybe so are you? It's a hard truth. One that whispers in the quiet moments when the distractions fade and the noise of the world grows dim. You feel it, don't you? That restless ache, that sense of incompleteness. A nagging feeling that somehow, despite the titles, achievements, and responsibilities, you haven't quite crossed an invisible threshold. You're running. Always running. From job to job, relationship to relationship, idea to idea. Searching for the next thing that will finally make you feel grounded, whole, fulfilled. But the moment you think you've found it, the excitement fades and the same gnawing emptiness returns. It's as if there's a part of you, untouched by time, that resists settling, resists choosing, resists growing up. You might tell yourself this is freedom. That avoiding commitments keeps your options open. That staying light keeps you safe from disappointment, from stagnation, from failure. But what if that freedom is actually a cage? What if the refusal to plant roots, to face responsibility, to endure discomfort isn't liberation, but imprisonment by your own fear? Carl Jung had a name for this hidden struggle: Puer Aeternus, the eternal boy. An archetype living quietly inside countless adults, keeping them suspended in a perpetual adolescence, afraid to descend fully into life. It's not your fault. Society rewards this endless potential. We live in a culture that glorifies the new, the exciting, the uncommitted. A culture that fears limitation, permanence, depth. But here's the uncomfortable truth: potential without purpose becomes a prison. You can feel it gnawing at the edges of your carefully curated life. The quiet question you avoid asking yourself: have I truly grown up, or am I just playing at being grown? And maybe, just maybe, it's time to stop running. In the depths of our psyche lies a figure both enchanting and perilous: the Puer Aeternus, or eternal boy. This archetype, illuminated by the renowned Swiss psychiatrist Carl Gustav Jung, embodies the individual who, despite advancing years, remains tethered to the whims and fancies of adolescence. The Puer Aeternus archetype represents a forever child, a man or woman who won't grow up. Such individuals are often described as charming, affectionate, and creative, yet they exhibit an overriding tendency to remain in an adolescent mindset well into their adult years. In mythology, the Puer Aeternus is a child god who is eternally young, like Iacchus, Dionysus, or Eros. This eternal child archetype is not confined to myths. It permeates our modern narratives. Consider characters like Peter Pan, the boy who never grows up, or Dorian Gray, whose external youth masks internal decay. These stories resonate because they reflect a universal tension: the allure of perpetual youth versus the necessity of maturation. Jung observed that the Puer Aeternus often leads a provisional life. This archetype covets independence and freedom, opposes boundaries and limits, and tends to find any restriction intolerable. The shadow of the Puer is the senex, Latin for old man, associated with discipline, control, responsibility, rationality, and order. Conversely, the shadow of the senex is the Puer, related to unbounded instinct, disorder, and whimsy. The Puer archetype is bipolar, exhibiting both a positive and a negative aspect. The positive side appears as the divine child who symbolizes newness, potential for growth, and hope for the future. The negative side is the child man who refuses to grow up and meet life's challenges head-on, waiting instead for his ship to come in and solve all his problems. The eternal boy's shadow looms large, casting doubts on commitments and fostering a perpetual state of incompletion. This shadow manifests as a resistance to the natural progression of life, an aversion to the responsibilities that come with adulthood. Yet, within this archetype lies a profound paradox. The Puer Aeternus embodies both the potential for boundless creativity and the risk of stagnation. Embracing the positive aspects of this archetype can lead to innovation and renewal. However, without the grounding influence of its counterpart, the Senex, the eternal boy risks being ensnared by his own reluctance to grow. As we reflect on this archetype, we must ask ourselves, do we recognize the Puer Aeternus within? Are we clinging to the fleeting joys of youth at the expense of deeper fulfillment? By acknowledging this shadow, we open the door to a more integrated self, one that honors both the spontaneity of youth and the wisdom of maturity. We often romanticize freedom as the absence of constraints, a boundless expanse where choices are limitless and responsibilities minimal. Yet, beneath this alluring veneer lies a paradox. Our aversion to growing up is intricately tied to a profound fear masked as a desire for freedom. In youth, the world appears as an open canvas, each brushstroke a new possibility. This vast potential is exhilarating, but it also harbors a subtle terror. The fear of choosing a path means forsaking countless others. Committing to a direction necessitates the death of infinite possibilities, a reality many are reluctant to face. This hesitation keeps individuals in a state of perpetual adolescence, where decisions are postponed under the guise of preserving freedom. Maturity demands confronting the unknown and embracing the possibility of failure. The eternal child archetype, or Puer Aeternus, often shuns commitments to avoid potential shortcomings. This avoidance stems from a deep-seated fear that taking responsibility might lead to inadequacy or disappointment. By evading adult roles, one maintains an illusion of invulnerability, shielding the fragile ego from the sting of failure. Underlying the resistance to adulthood is an existential dread, the awareness of mortality. Embracing adult responsibilities serves as a stark reminder of life's finite nature. By clinging to the vestiges of youth, individuals attempt to distance themselves from the inevitability of aging and death. This subconscious strategy offers a temporary escape from confronting the transient nature of existence. Modern society often glorifies perpetual youth, reinforcing the reluctance to mature. Media and cultural narratives celebrate the carefree, unbounded spirit of youth, subtly discouraging the natural progression into adulthood. This societal bias perpetuates the notion that growing up equates to a loss of freedom and joy, further entrenching the fear of maturation. Remaining in a childlike state offers the comfort of familiarity. The routines and expectations of adulthood can seem daunting compared to the known landscape of youth. This preference for the familiar over the uncertain terrain of adult life contributes to the resistance against growing up. Recognizing these underlying fears is the first step toward authentic freedom. True liberation arises not from the avoidance of responsibility but from embracing it. By confronting our fears, be it the loss of potential, fear of failure, or the reality of mortality, we pave the way for genuine growth. This journey transforms perceived constraints into opportunities for deeper fulfillment and self-discovery. In our culture, youth is often idolized, symbolizing freedom, vitality, and endless possibilities. However, when the desire to remain youthful becomes a refusal to embrace adulthood, it carries significant emotional costs. Avoiding maturity and adult responsibilities can lead to profound psychological impacts. Individuals who resist emotional growth often experience anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem, especially when confronted with societal expectations and internal pressures to achieve significant life milestones. Emotional immaturity can significantly affect various aspects of life, leading to difficulties in relationships, both personal and professional. The inability to handle conflicts maturely often results in strained relationships and social isolation. Remaining in a childlike state offers the comfort of familiarity. However, this preference for the familiar over the uncertain terrain of adult life contributes to the resistance against growing up. The refusal to grow up is often disguised as a pursuit of freedom. However, this so-called freedom can lead to a lack of direction and purpose, resulting in feelings of emptiness and dissatisfaction. Achieving emotional maturity involves recognizing and accepting one's emotions without repression, approaching conflicts with empathy and respect. It requires a willingness to face challenges, take responsibility for one's actions, and learn from experiences. This journey, though demanding, leads to genuine fulfillment and a deeper understanding of oneself. In essence, the reluctance to embrace adulthood, while seemingly preserving youth and freedom, exacts a significant emotional toll. It hampers personal development, strains relationships, and fosters a persistent sense of dissatisfaction. Recognizing and confronting these consequences is a crucial step toward achieving true emotional maturity and leading a fulfilling life. And then, one day, the eternal boy stands at the crossroads, not of the world, but of the soul. Before him, a figure emerges from the mists of his unconscious. Stern, grounded, unshaken by whims. This is the Senex, the wise old man, the elder archetype, the very embodiment of discipline, order, and timeless wisdom. Where the Puer Aeternus dreams, the Senex acts. Where the eternal boy flees from limits, the Senex understands their power. He knows that true freedom is not found in escaping boundaries but in mastering oneself within them. Yet, to the child man, this figure feels like a threat. The Senex is not charming or adventurous. He is not intoxicated by novelty. Instead, he calls for structure, for responsibility, for a life lived with intention rather than impulse. And for the one addicted to the wings of youth, this feels like death, a death of spontaneity, a death of possibility. But here lies the paradox. The Senex is not the end of life's journey but the beginning of its true depth. He is the guardian of transformation, the gatekeeper of a richer existence. In confronting him, the Puer is forced to ask himself, "What am I running from? And at what cost?" Many never ask. They cling to the mirage of endless freedom, avoiding the Senex like a shadow they fear will swallow them whole. But those who dare to meet him, to sit with his stillness, to listen to his ancient voice, find something they never expected: peace. Peace, not as the absence of struggle, but as the presence of meaning. The Senex teaches that through commitment, we find purpose. Through limitation, we uncover creativity. Through discipline, we experience liberation, not from the world, but from the chaos within. To integrate the Senex is not to abandon youth, but to harmonize it. To let the fire of the Puer burn with direction, rather than wild abandon. It is to become whole, no longer fragmented by fantasy and fear. So the question is not whether the Senex will appear, he always does, but whether we will have the courage to greet him not as an enemy, but as a mentor. In that meeting, the child man is offered a gift beyond imagination. The chance to grow not just older, but wiser. Not just to live, but to become. In the vast expanse of youth, potential seems infinite, a horizon stretching endlessly, inviting exploration without commitment. This boundless possibility is the realm of the Puer Aeternus, the eternal youth who revels in dreams yet shuns the anchor of purpose. However, as time unfolds, the allure of limitless potential often reveals itself as a mirage, masking a deeper yearning for rooted purpose. The Puer Aeternus archetype embodies the charm of unbounded potential, characterized by creativity and affection but often accompanied by a reluctance to embrace adulthood and its responsibilities. This eternal youth is enamored with the idea of keeping all options open, fearing that choosing a single path might lead to the loss of other opportunities. Yet, this avoidance can result in a life unanchored, drifting without direction or fulfillment. Transitioning from a state of endless potential to one of rooted purpose necessitates embracing commitment. This shift requires setting specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely, SMART goals, providing a structured path toward personal development. Such commitments ground us, transforming abstract possibilities into tangible realities and fostering a sense of direction and achievement. Engaging in personal development is pivotal in this transformation. It involves introspection and a focus on self-improvement, enhancing self-awareness, self-esteem, and overall well-being. By committing to continuous growth, individuals can navigate the journey from potential to purpose, aligning their actions with their aspirations and values. Facing new challenges is integral to personal growth. Whether it's starting a new job, moving to a new city, or taking on a leadership role, these experiences push individuals beyond their comfort zones, fostering resilience and adaptability. Embracing such challenges transforms potential into purpose, as each obstacle overcome adds depth and meaning to one's journey. Ultimately, the journey from endless potential to rooted purpose is about finding harmony between the two. It's not about abandoning dreams but channeling them into purposeful actions. This integration leads to a fulfilling life, where aspirations are not just imagined but realized, and where the eternal youth matures into a figure of wisdom and substance. In the journey of life, there comes a moment when the allure of endless possibilities gives way to a deeper yearning, a desire not just to wander, but to belong, not just to float, but to anchor. This pivotal moment requires the courage to grow roots, to commit to a path that leads to true transformation and self-realization. Carl Jung introduced the concept of individuation, describing it as the process by which a person becomes the individual they are meant to be, integrating both conscious and unconscious aspects of the self. This journey toward wholeness is not about becoming someone new, but about embracing who we truly are. Taking responsibility for our actions and decisions is a hallmark of maturity. It involves being accountable, managing our emotions, making thoughtful decisions, and setting healthy boundaries. By embracing responsibility, we empower ourselves to navigate life's challenges with resilience and purpose. While growing roots implies commitment and responsibility, it does not mean abandoning joy and spontaneity. Engaging in play as adults is vital for mental health, reducing stress, improving brain function, and enhancing relationships. Balancing responsibility with moments of playfulness leads to a more fulfilling life. True freedom arises from self-awareness and taking responsibility. By decluttering our minds and embracing our duties, we experience greater peace, freedom, and self-empowerment. This balance allows us to live authentically, aligned with our true selves. The path to transformation is an invitation to embrace both the light and shadow within us, to accept our strengths and weaknesses, and to commit to a journey of continuous growth. It requires courage to face the unknown, to plant roots in the soil of our true selves, and to nurture the person we are destined to become. As we conclude this exploration, reflect on your own journey. Are you ready to embrace the courage to grow roots, to commit to your path, and to transform into the individual you are meant to be? The journey awaits, and the first step begins with you. Thank you for joining us on this profound journey of self-discovery and transformation. If you found value in this exploration, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content that inspires and empowers.